Society for Music Education, in cooperation with the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, presents Alternative Music Education for Filipino Children Living in a Post-Pandemic Philippines. Through a series of webinars, the PSME aims to provide models of musicking at home for remote learning to be used by teachers and parents in the music education of their children during the post-enhanced community quarantine period. Each webinar topic covers concerns with regard to the content and delivery of music education for children at home. Aside from these, the enabling tools for remote learning such as music technology and assessment will also be tackled. Teachers in basic education will be able to explore the possibilities of integrating home experiences with the competencies of the school music curriculum through the sharing of musicking activities that can be done by families or vertical group of learners at home. Back to Basics. School-Home Music Intersections by Jocelyn T. Guadalupe. The lecture covers 4 parts. The first part will talk about the background on the music education now. The second part will talk about the paradigm shift in music education. The third part will cover alternative knowledge and skills. And the fourth and last part will cover alternative music education. Part 1. Music Education Now. Music Teaching and Learning in the Time of COVID-19 Pandemic. School music education is a fairly recent type of formal music education which, before the COVID-19 pandemic, was assumed to be the most dominant form of learning music because of its wide use. In some of these class sessions, music is integrated with other subjects, such as those shown here, integrating a music lesson on pitch with a social studies lesson on land and water forms. While our dilemma today focuses on finding intersections between school music and our students' present pandemic situation, where this school music is remotely taught, we must put this perspective of the fact that music education in broad strokes is not only learned in school. In fact, pre-industrial societies, including pre-colonial Philippines, did have music as part of ritual and traditions, and its teaching was located in social functions and apprenticeship. Schola Cantora in colonial times, as well as community bands and orchestra societies, were integrated in school music curricula, coming about within the last 200 years only. Pre-pandemic, this was the most dominant but less engaging form of music education for most children in the Philippines. Today, the lockdowns associated with the COVID-19 virus has presented challenges and possibilities for music education. Challenges in part because of the reality that remote learning might not be the best approach for formal school music curricula. Possibilities in another because of the realization that as a whole, music education is not only school music learning, but also engaging with music at home and with others across various soundscapes. For the past few years, education in schools has been challenged by a high dropout rate, which, compounded with the pandemic, may even result to a higher number of children leaving school. For music educators, the place of music in schools, as located in the children's homes, present possibilities for relevant music making. While there are indeed many challenges in these times, music and arts can provide alternative means for expressing children's engagement with the world as it is now. Having talked about music education now and the background information resulting to that, let us now go to part 2, a paradigm shift, changing context, goals, and objectives for music education. Basic education in schools has really been affected because the learning context of students has changed. 1. The setting moved from schools to homes. This is the most challenging for most teachers, where student situation has moved from the school laboratory setup to real homes. Some children and youth, especially children at risk and girls who have been marginalized, may have difficulty getting by in general. Gadgets in aid of study, as well as adults available who can help them in their learning are limited, if not totally absent. In some cases, parents are learners themselves. Second, the social group changed from peers to family. The grouping of tasks initially planned for particular age groups and grade levels in terms of difficulty is now done vertically, with tasks that can be done by siblings together but with graduated difficulty for their differentiated learning curve and considering inclusive learning as well. Paradigm shift for schools due to changes in approach from face-to-face to remote learning. Technology-mediated learning, whether through printed modules or online learning sessions, tends to disconnect those who want to establish rapport with each other through interaction. Planning for activities that involve synchronous eye contact, interactions, and instant feedback is also limited. Teacher-directed instruction is rendered useless and student-directed learning is key. The fourth paradigm shift involves objectives and assessment modes, from discipline-based content and test-based to practical, holistic, and integrated learning and forms of evaluation. From memorizing and learning content, one is now shifted to lifelong learning. What is music in the life of a young Filipino child or youth at this time? What does it mean for a Filipino child or youth to have learned music? Previously premised on a preconceived notion of musical intents and goals based on a society that was, how can school music better reflect the challenge of the pandemic times? The setting is now the home, where home is school. Experiences at home now serve as materials for learning. The social group is now the family, which serves as guide in experiencing music in all its forms. The approach is everything but teacher-directed instruction, and assessment is not based on tests, but on one's reflection of the musical things that one encounters in everyday life. Having talked about the change in paradigm for music education as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, let us now go to the third part, which covers school-home intersections. These intersections of home life may serve as basis for school music. The first intersection involves four important aspects. 1. Music materials available in the home include songs and music that families listen together. These provide the primary materials for experiencing music, which teachers can use as main materials for reflecting on the musical experience. Tasks in music lessons may include asking a grandparent to teach a folk song by rote or ouido, so that the younger generations can learn their own heritage from their musical mother tongue of folk songs. Children who love physical activities may also be taught local chants and proverbs that may be performed with actions or movement. Number 2. Ways and means of producing music may not be limited to musical instruments, but also improvised media for making soundscapes. In this picture, a small boy from Bulacan plays the musikong bongbong bamboo trombone-like instrument that his grandfather made. Another picture shows a bandmaster from Angono playing an old musikong bongbong fashioned after the French horn. Number 3, some issues of musical taste where young children and youth tend to dislike the music preferred by their parents and older kin also come to play. These can be made apparent at the onset. Awareness of one's type of music and the reasons one likes it can be a takeoff point for music reflection. Number 4, spaces for music and movement as well as general music making may be limited for children located in small homes. These may be also reflected on by learners in their musical choices and strategies. In Filipino, we label this strategizing as diskarte. The second intersection pertains to the intersection of varying abilities across the age group. Musical activities like singing, moving, playing will now be done vertically instead of with people of the same age group. The challenges for planning these for the teacher include differing musical abilities for each age group, as well as the dynamics of families that may play up in joint musical activities. For the third intersection, the issue of technology-mediated instruction is important. The technology available to the teacher, the student, and the general infrastructure at home in lieu of the classroom. For basic education, learning management systems are more geared for adult learners in layout, font size, among others. The challenge of online instruction is real as music educators have been trained by their higher education institutions in face-to-face pedagogy and not distance learning. For some areas as well, radio and television provide better choices, but less interactivity between students and teacher as well as students and classmates. The fourth intersection pertains to transfer of knowledge across disciplines. Music content, like elements of music, music literacy, and music appreciation, is now dependent on what is relevant and available. Given the limited connectivity and module setup where parental involvement and know-how is also limited, the possibilities of integrative approaches in arts and science education can be made. Authentic assessment in actual music learning contexts can be explored, such as everyday musicking. Activities in the child's home life can lead to a realization on the commonalities and interconnected principles between the arts and the sciences, such as the sets of rules and logics for each, the themes expressed in various arts, and the issues faced by both arts and sciences during this pandemic. The contribution of all forms of knowledge in human life during this highly volatile period of human history is an important analysis for basic education. An example of an integrative activity is shown below. Using the sample prompt for Kinder, what fruits and vegetables do families eat at home? For music, kindergarten students can create a simple one-line rhythmic chant of fruits or vegetables eaten at home, and they will chant this 3 times. For art, they will draw and color the healthy fruits eaten at home. For science, they will describe the color, shape, and taste of fruits they eat at home. And for physical education, they will create movements or actions while reciting the rhythmic chant of fruits and vegetables they have created. Using the same prompt, but this time for grade 1, the question can be asked, what plants can you see around you? For music and art, soundscapes can be used. Listen and describe the rustling sound of leaves and trees in the area. For mathematics, counting and sorting can be used. Count the kinds of plants you see around you, Sort plants according to edible or non-edible. Using the same lesson on plants, but this time for grade 2, the grade 2 student will be asked, how are these edible plants prepared before being eaten? For music, the student will be asked to ask a parent or older relative to teach him or her a song about plants. For art, the student will be asked to draw a salad or vegetable dish using available coloring materials. For science, the student will be asked to describe the conditions needed for edible plants to grow during certain parts of the year. For mathematics, the student will make a list of the ingredients and the quantity needed in preparing a vegetable dish. Using the same lesson on edible plants, the sample prompt for grade 3 is, how are edible plants planted and harvested? For music, the students will be asked to sing a song about planting and harvesting with or without actions. The songs may be taught by an older relative. For science, the students will be asked to describe harvest procedures by specifying materials used in food gathering and harvesting. During the first part, we talked about background information regarding the pandemic situation that affects music education. The second part talks about the shift in paradigm in education, including music education. The third part talked about the possibilities of intersecting home life with school music. This fourth part presents alternative music education in a VUCA world. As a last part, I bring about the concept of VUCA, or volatile, unstable, complex, and ambiguous world. The term VUCA was coined by Bennis and Naus in 2014 to refer to an acronym for our changing world. For music education, the VUCA world implies iterative systems of planning. As music educators, we continue to make sense of a changing world and experience the sights and sounds of this world along with our students. We help our students represent these sounds and sights through their own ideas, images, and feelings. These ideas, images, and feelings are translated into meaningful music experiences, this time produced not in school, but in the more personal space of home and family. To counter the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous or VUCA world, we also remember to use VUCA. V, we plan with vision to counter volatility. U, we try to understand uncertainty. C, we clarify complexity. And A, we must be adaptable and agile with ambiguous situations. In conclusion, school and home interactions in the pandemic has shed light on how schools in general, and in particular, music curricula, approaches, and forms of assessment must change to reflect the changing world. Historically, schools and formal music education are products of the then Industrial Revolution, which gave birth to formal systems of learning, aside from the former apprenticeship and conservatories. At present, we are now faced with a similar challenge presented during the previous Industrial Revolution to the world 200 years ago. Our changing world, characterized by a volatile, unstable, complex, and ambiguous set of realities, are literally in our doorstep via the COVID-19 pandemic. Even with artificial intelligence in the fourth industrial revolution and all, the effects of this VUCA world in our habits of mind have long been simmering. We must respond with adaptability in our musical thought and practice, guiding alternative music education.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar of the Philippine Society for Music Education. The title of my webinar is Alternative Modes of Music Education Assessments. This is Associate Professor Dolores Texon Andres from the University of Santo Tomas Conservatory of Music, Music Education Department. Assessment always involves testing, finding out whether the students have learned or not. But assessment today has a different focus. If before the emphasis is only after learning, now the whole duration of the learning process is already considered an assessment process. Before, we were just concentrating on the contextualized task, wherein we talk about apples, we talk about pears, but now it should be contextualized tasks. They should be counting the number of mangoes, the number of kamatis that they can find in their backyard. And before, we were very strict. We only want a single correct answer. And now we consider the child and they have many, will be accepting many correct answers. Before, the focus is about controlling, documenting how many pass, but now our mindset is more on motivating. How can we let the child go on with the lesson even if he's having a hard time? So, gone are the days wherein our focus is memorizing, but we want to develop critical thinking among our children. So, I prepared today four topics, or five topics rather, and I entitled them this way: Follow the Chicken, Bahay Kubo't Iba Pa, Rhythm Hunt, Tick Tock Goes the Clock, and Home Based Improvisation. Follow the Chicken. My song is entitled Akong Manok, wherein the children will move to the rhythm of the song as well as follow the melodic contour of the song. So the idea is for the children to top the rhythm, and the rhythm would be the way the melody will move, the way the words will move. The song goes this way. Ako manok sa buhi pa, akong manok sa buhi pa. Kusog mo tuktuga ukok kuliya kukula. Kusog mo tuktuga ukok kuliya kukula. Akong manok sa buhi pa. So the children will move their hands or move their fingers to the different pictures. So you can even stop akong manok. So where are we? Are we on a lower note or a higher note? So that can be your melodic contour. And then are the rhythms in the first line faster than the second line? So those are some of the things that you can do with our follow the chicken. The second activity, it's more on a paper-based assessment. It's Bahay Kubo at iba pa. In this lesson, learner identifies the pictures of the plants in Bahay Kubo. Let them point and describe the pictures or describe the plants, the vegetables, the fruits. And they can also rearrange the picture as mentioned in the song. So if this will be fixed and they can't rearrange it, you can always number the pictures of the fruits or the vegetables that were sung in our Bahay Kubo. So this lesson is we can integrate science as well as logical sequence in this type of activity. So these are the fruits, vegetables, that and beans that you can find in the Bahay Kubo. So if this is movable, rearrange it, ask them to rearrange it, or again, number the fruits or the pictures. For arts connection, you can let them draw the different plants. Singkamas, talong, sigarilyas, mani, sitaw, bataw, patani, kundol, patula, upot, kalabasa, labanos, mustasa. And meron pa dyan, sa paligid-ligid mayroong linga. But I did not include linga in this drawing. And then we can also have the English connection. So what's the English term for singkamas? Talong. Sigarilyas. Oh, I'm not even sure if I know sigarilyas. So again, we had science connection, art connection, and English connection. And for the third activity, let's have some rhythm activities. So this one is called rhythm hunt, wherein the teacher will play some patterns and the children will encircle the patterns. So I can play it forward, I can play it backward, I can play it horizontal or vertical or diagonal. So some patterns will appear the same, but the trick there or the clue or what will help you is let them answer it in different colors. So for example, question number 1, everybody bring out your red color. So my rhythm pattern is, this is my red rhythm pattern. Find out where it is. Find the red rhythm pattern. Okay, this is my second rhythm. This time, color it with blue. I hope you'll find it. Did you see that rhythm? Where is it? It's on the first line, but I played it backwards. It's on the first line, but I played it backwards. So that's the rhythm hand activity. Another rhythm activity is what I call the tick tock goes the clock. So this is my clock. It doesn't have any numbers, but I have 12 rhythm patterns. I have 12 rhythm patterns. So I can play it in many ways. It can become a dictation activity, or it can become a a practice activity for the children, wherein they can record the rhythms, collect the rhythms, and turn it into a their own composition. Or you can ask them to sing a song and just play a time there. They can play 4 o'clock, and that would be the ostinato for their song. So let's try first the first activity, which is tick tock goes the clock. Play the rhythm 3 o'clock. Beat, beat, here you go. 3 o'clock. So this one is it will be the children who will be doing this, or it can be the teacher that is doing this, and the children will listen, and the teacher will just record herself and play some rhythms. Wherein after playing it, then you can ask the pupils to echo once more. Rhythm 3 o'clock. Your turn. Let me hear you. Very good, children. So if I will turn this into a practice rhythm, then I'll just play it randomly, but I will say the time. Okay. Another one is if it's the opposite, and the children will now identify the time of the rhythm that you are playing. Huh? So always remember, when you play rhythms, you have to set the time. Set the time means set the beat. Beat, beat, here I go. Beat, beat, here I go. What's the time of this rhythm? What's the time of this rhythm? What time is that? 5 o'clock. Okay, very good. Let's have another number. Beat, 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 beat. What's the time of this rhythm? What's the time of this rhythm? Very good. Titita, titi. But where is it? I don't think I played it correctly. Once more, look for it. Here I go. Once more, here I go. 9 o'clock. Okay, good. And for the last one, we have some improvisation. So here are some pictures of things that you can find at home. Get a pan, get a stick-o, some bottles, some papers, and then make it sound. How would you play? How would you play your stick-o battle? So you need a beater, you need a stick. How would you like to play your pans? Do you want to play it loud? Do you want to play it soft? Then get your alcohol. Then get a piece of paper. So watch this video, and this is a sample of home-based improvisation. for the last activity of this assessment, I would like to present storytelling, finding the pentatones. In the busy town of Cavite, there live five sisters named Candy, Denny, Ellie, Jelly, and Ali. The eldest sister is Jelly, and she is the most energetic. Danny and Ellie are twins. They love to dance in the gazebo. Candy is the calmest and the cutest. August is the birthmonth of Ali. These girls always go to church every Sunday. Good day. So, what did we do? So, we just played all the words that start with C, D, E, and G and A on any melodic instruments. You can even use your harmonica, melodica, and your recorder. What else can you do? Then you can ask the children to write the letter names in the order it is written. So in this storytelling, we have C, C, D, E, G, A, E, G, E, D, E, A, D, G, C, 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 A, A, G, A, G, C, E, G. Then play the letter names on any melodic instrument. And then you can improvise a rhythm on the given melody. And then for more advanced students, then you can let them write the letter names on the staff and add some rhythm to it. So let me just play a simple improvisation of these letters, and I will have my own rhythm. The pentatones. So thank you so much. I hope you got something out of these simple music education assessments. Again, this is Mom Dolly saying thank you and have a good day.
Good day. My name is David Dino Guadalupe. Welcome to the Recording Audio at Home webinar. In this tutorial, I will show how to configure existing digital devices to record audio at home. I will focus mostly on simple setups that use commonly available peripherals with our gadgets or devices that we may already have. These are some of the requirements for audio recording: a suitable space with good acoustics, a recording device. It can be a digital audio recorder, a desktop PC, laptop, tablet, or smartphone. We also need audio recording software or apps. These are specific to our devices and operating systems. We also need a playback device. This can be the same recording device or another compatible device like a smart TV, a PC with speakers, or a Bluetooth speaker. We can also use speakers, headphones, or earphones for sound monitoring and playback. Some audio accessories are also needed, like microphones, cables, stands, and device adapters. We would also need time set aside for testing and device equipment setup. I will indicate in the examples for tablet and smartphone the specific apps that I have used. And at the end, I will show an example of how to download and use open source software for PCs and laptops. Digital audio recorders have the advantage of being easy to use. They usually have good quality microphones built in. Some models can also record video. They also have high quality output if properly set up. Some disadvantages are the high cost, depending on the brand, model, features, and the construction. They also may need expensive proprietary accessories, extra battery packs, high speed data cards, chargers, tripods, and specific cables. This digital recorder runs on two AA batteries and uses an SD card for storage. It can record video and it has the option to just record audio. Tablet PCs and smartphones are easy to use. They have built in internal microphones and single earphone mic ports for external headsets. Some models have no audio port, but they use a converter cable. They have operating systems such as Android OS, iPad OS, iOS, Windows Mobile, Symbian, KaiOS, and other non-smartphone operating systems. Most newer Android, iOS, iPadOS devices can utilize external USB audio interfaces as long as there is software or app support. When setting up audio input on a tablet or smartphone, the internal microphone in the device can be used by default. Headset microphones with 3.5 mm TRRS plugs will work. PC-compatible microphones can also be used, but will require an adapter cable to work. This is the TRRS breakout cable. Dynamic mics can work with an XLR to 3.5 mm TRS cable. External USB sound devices, which are USB class compliant, will work but will require additional adapters or cables. Using the built-in microphone on a tablet or smartphone. When using the built-in microphone on a tablet, note where it is positioned so you can point it towards the sound that you want to record. In this Android smartphone, the built-in microphone is at the bottom. You can also see in this example that the software that is being used has a graphical display and allows the user to adjust the input level or sensitivity to minimize the background noise. Using a headset microphone with a tablet or smartphone. These are some of the microphones and cable devices that can be connected to smartphones and tablets. The first is a set of earphones with microphone, which are designed for tablets or smartphones with a 3.5 mm TRRS plug. The breakout cable for tablets and smartphones allows separate microphones and headphones to be connected to a single TRRS plug. The 3.5 mm desktop microphone, or the XLR female to 3.5 mm TRS, can be used with a breakout cable to connect to the smartphone or tablet. A headset with an external microphone is connected to a tablet. An external microphone with earphones is connected to an Android smartphone. A dynamic mic is connected to an Android smartphone using a 3.5 mm breakout cable with a single TRRS plug to two TRS jacks. Using an external USB sound device or dongle with a tablet or smartphone. These are some of the USB class compliant audio devices that can be used on smartphones and tablets. The first is an inexpensive USB audio dongle, and the next two are USB Type C microphones and microphones with Lightning connector for specific devices. These adapter cables allow standard USB devices to be connected to smartphones or tablets. We have the USB OTG to micro USB, the USB OTG Type C, the 30-pin camera connection kit, and the Lightning to USB camera connection kit. In this example, a tablet uses an external dynamic microphone with a USB sound dongle. This needs a specific adapter for the tablet. In this example, a dynamic microphone with a USB sound dongle is connected to an Android smartphone via a micro USB OTG cable. Desktop PCs and laptops usually have built-in audio input and output ports. They use operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. They can use external USB sound interfaces for better audio quality and are compatible with professional audio equipment like cables and microphones. Most laptops usually have built-in speakers and microphones, which are additional devices to be added on desktop PCs. The audio ports you may find at the back of some PCs will be similar to this. They are usually color coded: green for output, red for microphone input, and blue for line input. You may find additional ports for additional speaker outputs. On laptops, there may be two separate ports for headphones and microphones, or a single combination port which combines a headset and microphone into one connector. To set up a desktop PC for audio recording, you must connect a microphone. An external microphone with a 3.5 mm TRS male connector can be plugged into the mic in port at the back or in the front panel. The back panel is more reliable and may be less noisy. Other types of microphones, like dynamic microphones, can be used with the proper cable. This one is a female XLR to 3.5 mm TRS male cable. External USB sound devices, which are USB class compliant or plug and play, will work on both desktop PCs and laptops without additional software. To set up a desktop PC for audio recording, you must connect a microphone. An external microphone with a 3.5 mm TRS male connector can be plugged into the mic in port at the back or in the front panel. Other types of microphones, like dynamic microphones, can be used with the proper cable. This one is a female XLR to 3.5 mm TRS male cable. You can use a laptop's built-in microphone if there is no external microphone available. On a laptop, an external microphone can be connected if it has a 3.5 mm TRS plug. Be sure to check if the microphone is detected properly. Other types of microphones, like dynamic microphones, can be used with the proper cable. This one is a female XLR to 3.5 millimeter TRS male cable. In this example, we are connecting a dynamic microphone to an external USB audio dongle. This device is plug and play and will work without installing any additional software. Be sure to check the settings for the proper selection of the input and output device. Installing open source audio recording software for laptop and PC. Okay, this is one of the free open source software that can be used on desktops and laptops. This is called Audacity. So I've already searched in my browser, so we can go straight to the website. I'll click on it and download the version for our operating system. So I'm using Windows, so I will click on Windows and scroll down. This is the link to the installer. Okay, I'll scroll down a bit. And now here's the Windows installer. Let's click on it and download the software. Okay, it will take a few seconds. So Audacity is here, the installer. So we just click on it and it will start installing. Okay, so after installing Audacity, you can run the program and this is what you will see. This is the interface, which uses tape recorder-like controls. We have controls for pause, play, stop, back, forward, and record. This is where we can select our input devices. So for me, I have a microphone plugged into the back, and this is the port it uses. The output for my system or PC goes out here to the speakers. Although I am using headphones, they are plugged into that same jack. Here we can choose how Windows handles your sound. So Windows Direct Sound is actually a very good compromise between performance. And here we can click here on these level meters to check the level of our input signal. So now you can see the signal of my microphone, which I am talking through right now. If I talk softly, if I talk normally, and if I talk loudly, you will see it gets red here. So this is a signal overload already if I talk too loud. Okay, so we can try to record. We'll check if we can record and play it back. So I'll press record. Hello, test mic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's stop. Then let's play it back. Hello? Test mic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you are ready to start recording. Okay, here in Audacity, let's try to record another example. This time, an example of recording an instrument. This is a stringed instrument, an ukulele. Let's check our sound levels, our input levels. Okay, you notice here that I'm using a USB device. So it's here. This is for the input. Okay, now here is our instrument. Let's check the level. Okay, now let's try to record something. Okay, let's listen to it. Okay, in case you're wondering what this piece is, the title of this piece is A Madre de Jesucristo. This is from the Cantigas de Santa Maria, number 302, from the early uh, 13th century. This was commissioned by King Alfonso X of Castile. Um, they called him El Sabio, the wise one, and in his court he employed musicians from different cultures. He employed Christians, Jews, and Muslims as musicians, and he commissioned them to create different hymns to the Mother Mary, Saint Mary. Okay, so this is our example. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy audio recording.
Welcome! Ako po si Joey Ayala. Nung high school pa ako, ambisyon kong manirahan sa loob ng isang recording studio. Imposible siya noon, pero ngayon, dadang, meron na tayong home recording. Noon, kailangan sikat ka, super galing ka, may backer ka. Ngayon, hindi na. Kahit di ka pa magaling, gusto mo lang maglaro, gusto mo lang mag-enjoy, the best home recording. At alam nyo naman, as teachers, pag ang isang bagay ay enjoyable gawin, madaling pasukan ng leksyon regardless of your subject. Physics, language, araling panlipunan, mathematics, lahat yan pwede mong i-relate sa home recording. Pero as musicians and as music teachers, the most important feature of home recording para sa akin is mapapakinggan mo ang sarili mo, matuto kang mag-assess ng sarili mo, magiging objective ka sa iyong performance. At pag nagagawa mo yan, ang progress mo as a musician, taas masyado. Yung aking guitar playing, napilitan akong maglinis when I started listening to recordings of my performances. Ang isang maganda sa home recording is it's easy to share. And when you share, you add a dimension to the feedback galing sa ibang tao. Feedback. Sasabihan ka na, pare, improve ka. You can get better if you do this. Oh, wow, ang galing. Like. Ako, yung habol natin, di ba? Boost your ego. Alam mo tama ang ginagawa mo. Tapos pag ginagawa mo ng ginagawa yan, when you keep repeating that process of enjoying, learning, assessing, sharing, listening to feedback, pag hindi ka pa gumaling, nako, hindi ko na alam. Anong gagawin mo sa buhay mo? So when we talk about recording, anong unang pagkakaabalahan natin? Siyempre, anong ire-record natin? No? As musicians, alam na natin yan. We compose, we arrange, we learn, we practice, we perform, we press record. No? Pero sa technical na aspect, kalimutan muna natin yung music. Ang pag-usapan natin ay sound. Sound, frequencies, vibration. Ang prinsipyo dito is all sound is vibration. Different kinds of vibrations. There are fast vibrations, yun yung high frequency. There are slower vibrations, yun yung low frequencies. Ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa in terms of behavior is ito. Napansin nyo ba pag may nagko-concert sa malayo, ang naririnig nyo lang ay yung low frequencies. Yung pag may dumadaan na jeep na ang lakas ng speaker, low frequencies travel farther than high frequencies. Importante masyado yan kasi when we play music, when we create sound, it always happens inside a space. Ngayon, pag gumawa ka ng sound sa loob ng isang espasyo, whether it's an open space or a closed space like this room, walang choice. Yung vibrations, yung frequencies, tumatalbog-talbog sa mga bagay na nandyan sa space. So kung ang space mo matigas, ang talbog mo marami kasi matigas eh. Parang bola lang din yan eh. Bam, 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 bam. Nagkakaroon ng echo. Yang echo, yan yung nakakapalabo ng tunog pag sobra. Pag tamang-tama lang, yan yung nagpapasarap din ng tunog. Pag walang echo, weird siya. Bakit? Kasi ang tenga natin, sanay na makinig na may natural echo. Natural hearing contains natural echoes. Natural spaces, talagang may bounds yan. At hinahanap ng tenga natin yan. Kung patayin mo yan, for technical recording, pwede. Kasi pwede ka magdagdag ng echo later on. I'd like to demonstrate for you the difference between high and low frequencies using this kubing. No? Tanya, yung yun yung mga high frequency, yung boom, 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 boom. Yun yung low frequency niya. So, pag malayo ako sa mic, maririnig mo lang yung to. Lumilinaw yung melodic part niya pag malapit. So usually, pag pumasok ka sa isang potential recording room, maririnig mo na kaagad yung ambience niya. Kung sisigaw ka o kaya papalakpak ka, pakikinggan mo yung echo. Tapos, manahimik ka, tapos pakinggan mo kung meron bang noise, extraneous sounds. Yung mga sound na ayaw mong kasama sa recording. Or, kung wala kang magawa, work around. No? May tilaok yung manok, alangan naman tirahin mo yung manok. Sumisigaw yung kapitbahay, alangan naman tirahin mo yung kapitbahay. You work around it. No? May mga cures yan. Hanapin mo yung oras na tahimik. No? Kung masyado maraming alingaw-ngaw, maglagay ka ng kurtina, yung mga kutsyon, sandal mo sa pader. No, yan yung mga cure. Yung sobrang bass frequencies, katulad ng kwartong ito, grabe ang bass frequencies. Napansin nyo siguro, medyo umuugong yung low frequencies ng boses, mga ganun. Hindi ko pa rin siya nasosolve totally, pero nabawasan na. No? Nabawasan na, linagyan ko ng makapal na goma yung aking sahig. No? Yung kanto, linagyan ko ng sopa, linagyan ko ng, pero andyan pa rin siya. Sa palagay ko, aakyatin ko yung mga kanto sa taas, magkakapit ako dyan ng something. Matrabaho din siya kasi gusto ko maging permanente yung recording room ko. Pero for general educational purposes, maghanap ka na ng kwarto na hindi masyadong maingay. Tapos, ang hinahabol mo naman dito malinaw ba ang mga frequencies? Is there clarity? And your primary judge, syempre, tenga mo. No? So, ang objective mo sa searching for a good space to record in is, unang-una, clarity. Hindi siya masyadong maalingaw-ngaw. Yung alingaw-ngaw, masarap yan, pero pag sobra, nawawala ang clarity ng iyong recording. Yun lang naman ang basic principle sa space, no? Clarity. The next element na we worry about, syempre, equipment. Ito, nakakataranta to kasi ang daming equipment, no? And the most important thing is limit your options. Pag sobrang madaming options, the important thing is to limit your options. So, yung pinakasimple, yun na. No, lalo na kung ang habol mo hindi naman mag-release ng album agad. Ang habol mo is maging mas magaling. Keep it simple. And luckily, in this day and age, we have a piece of equipment na nandyan na lahat. You can record on it, you can listen to it, you can share. Ayan, andyan na yun sa bulsa nyo. Ayan, si smartphone. Meron siyang microphone, meron siyang recorder, meron siyang video camera. A lot of people don't realize it. It's a recording studio and a broadcast studio all in one. Napakaliit pa, nandyan lang sa inyong bag. Pwede mong kabitan ng speakers, ng monitors, ng earphones. Pwede mong, yung file, pwede mong ilipat sa computer o sa tablet. Tapos, kung type mong magkalikot ng mga software, audio software, napakaraming magagawa nito. You can edit out your mistakes. You can add reverb, you can add echo na gusto mo. Yung mga robotic voices na usong-uso. Tapos diretso share, di ba? Grabe. So the best thing you can do is use your smartphone. Itong ginagamit ko, hindi smartphone to dahil may problema ako sa smartphone ko, hindi ko makabit. I'm keeping it simple. I'm using an old video cam here na hindi masyadong maganda ang mics, pero pwede na. Just keeping it simple. Ang habol natin dito sa equipment maganda ang balanse. Ano ibig sabihin magandang balanse? Naririnig yung pinakamahinang dapat marinig, naririnig yung pinakamalakas na dapat na marinig na hindi naman nasisira yung recording mo. Focus, malinaw, ano ang bida doon sa sound. For example, kung ikaw ay soloista, gusto mo medyo pantay yung boses sa gitara mo, no? So, I have two sources of sound, my voice and the guitar. Kung ang mic ay masyadong mataas, mas malapit siya sa boses kaya sa gitara, at kunyari ganyan. Oh, baka bitin yung gitara. Kung sobra naman baba, mas lamang yung gitara sa distansya. O baka bitin yung boses. So, hahanapin natin yung bandang, kung ayan yung microphone mo, medyo nasa gitna siya. Nasa gitna siya ng dalawang source. O so you have to know what is the role each element of the sound plays. Alin dun yung bida, alin yung backup. Tapos, ang labanan dyan, distansya, near and far. The closer you get, the bigger the sound. Farther you get, the smaller the sound. So, babalansehin mo siya. No? Yan lang. Yun ang basic dyan. Ang pinaka-importante na naman diyan, ang basis ng judgment mo, tenga mo. Yun pa rin, tenga talaga. Tenga for clarity, tenga for balance. Tapos, this is where it can get frustrating sometimes. Lahat ng kwarto pupuntahan mo. Dala mo yung recorder, dala mo yung iyong musician. Kung ikaw man yun, mas madali. Pero kung may mga kasama ka, pare, doon naman tayo sa CR, subukan natin. Para ma-compare mo, yan talaga ang magde-decide. Tenga, no? Tenga, 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 tenga. Yan na ang home recording. Three basic elements: the sound, the space, the gear. Yan lang. That's it. And in the middle of everything, nandyan yung iyong tenga. Home recording artist na tayong lahat. Okay? Amen. Sige. Bye-bye. See you later. Malay mo, no? Bigla kang ma-discover, I'm rich, I'm famous. Ano yan, fringe benefits lang yung fame and fortune in your progress as a musician. Pag nagkataon, sinuwerte, okay. Just keep on recording, keep on being objective about your performance. Ulit ng ulit, share, listen to what people say. Gagaling ka rin. Gagaling din ang mga estudyante mo. Bye-bye.